Hello everybody and welcome back to Angels of Scaly Wings. It's been a little bit, I will admit that. I really wanted to get things recorded sooner, but I've been pretty busy with life stuff, and I really wanted to make sure I could devote the proper time and energy to this, so I made sure that I really could. I now have a good 2 or so hours to get the next episode or two recorded, so we're gonna hop right into this. Today we're going to be starting our second run, and with this one I'm going to be attempting to, as my main objective, keep Anna alive. Oh geez, that's loud. Okay. Trauma, Chapter 1. But yes, my main objective is to keep Anna alive. I'd like to keep Adine alive as well, but since that is not our main priority, that might not happen. I don't exactly know how or if she'd die, but we'll see. Okay. I woke from uneasy dreams looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. Just for a moment, I wondered where I was before the events of last night all came back to me. Oh yeah, and this is the part I didn't record last time, so this will be, I imagine, a little interesting to go back through, because it's been long enough that I might as well not have even played it, except for a few choice parts. After a good stretch, I looked around the room illuminated by the sunlight coming in from the window. Outside, in the distance, the portal I had emerged from stood proudly on the peak of a small hill. I can't remember if this is the same text as when I started before. It could very well be, because I did come in at night, and I think that's might be the same text. Either way, getting ready, I noticed something lying on the table. It was the note Remy had left for me in case I needed anything. Yeah, I think this is the same text. I don't think this is even slightly different. Along with his own home phone and work number, there were also some numbers for delivery of food and other necessities, as well as emergency and even janitorial services. He had certainly thought of everything, even though I now had to wonder what a dragon plumber might look like. My musings were interrupted when the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I was met by another dragon. Imagine that, another dragon. So yeah, I wondered if maybe the text would be slightly different. But it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it plays the same way, and it's kind of left up to you to know what's different, or to know what you know now going back into it is up to you, not something the game's gonna really hint you towards at all, which I can appreciate. Even though technically it might change the narrative a little bit if you know things, but either way, I don't know exactly how this whole time travel thing works. System, my records indicate you've already experienced this section in a satisfactory manner. Okay. If you wish, we could skip sections like these in which you've already cleared before. No need to read everything again. Isn't that great? How is this different from just using skip buttons? Well, here's the deal. Using the skip buttons can be tedious, especially when encountering puzzles you've already solved before or when faced with long dialogue trees. Sometimes it's just easier to jump over a whole section than speeding it up, So during relevant sections, I'll come in and ask if you don't want to just outright jump ahead. Sound good so far? Yep. Anyway, there are times when you might want to choose to not jump ahead like this and do skip buttons as usual. That's totally fine. Both methods have their own advantages and disadvantages. Jumping ahead will often skip minor choices. Okay. This is fine. However, jumping out will never skip important choices. Up to you whether you want to use it or not. Choice is yours. Would I like to skip ahead? No, because I haven't recorded this part. So no, don't skip. As you wish. Yes, I am your master. Go the fuck away. Not you. I wasn't talking to you, I swear. I was talking to the voice in my head. The computer in my head. Wait, actually, what is system? Okay, that's weird. Anyway. Also, I realized Sebastian seems a whole lot more nervous in this opening part than any other point in the dialogue. Like, this is the only time where he even slightly stutters. And I find that a little odd. I mean, I guess he might just be nervous about seeing a human. Maybe he has some, bad experiences, bad connotations to humans. Because, their mythology's freaking weird. Hello, you must be Ink. I'm Sebastian, I'll be your escort. Or security, I suppose. I usually work for the police, though. Nice to meet you. He seemed a lot smaller than Remy, and when he somewhat nervously extended his arm towards me, I noticed he apparently only walked on his hind legs, the two forelimbs, instead having distinct arms, hands, and fingers. This type of dragon being something I called Raptorian when I first played, because I guess that kind of makes sense. And unless I learn actual names for the species, I'm going to keep that up. Yeah, shake his hand. When I took his hand into mine and shake it gently, I could feel the individual bumps and scales on his rough skin. Nice to meet you too, Sebastian. So, where are you taking me? Straight to business, eh? We're going to visit the plant where they're making your generators. They have some news for you, or so I've heard. Reza will be there too. Sounds great. Just follow me. Don't have a choice. If I wanted to run off in the opposite direction, I was not allowed to. While we walked, I was under the impression we were purposefully avoiding the busier parts of town, instead straying towards the edges and small alleys as to not garner too much attention. Even then, we got the occasional stare. After just a couple minutes, we arrived at our destination where we were met by Reza, as well as yet another dragon, a vicious-looking beast that didn't stay too close to him. Yeah. Good old Maverick. I was quite impressed by that design when I first saw it, because I like the traditional design very much. Or I say traditional. I guess I'm talking more about like the more often depicted sort of designs, because there's no traditional really design. Traditional designs of anything have different meanings when you go to different parts of the world. Like the traditional Chinese dragon is nothing like the traditional, say, American dragon. Do Americans actually have like a traditional dragon per se though, or have we just borrowed it from other things? Anyway, I digress. I'm not doing a voice for Reza, because I don't know what voice to do, and it's too similar to my own when I try anyway. Hey, he said. Reza, long time no see. How true that is. Good to finally see another human face around here. What a coincidence to have you, of all people, show up. Yeah, I guess those degrees aren't so useless after all. By the way, who's your friend? Just my bodyguard, same as yours. Don't bother with him, he doesn't talk much. He talks plenty later when he, has to pin you for crimes. If only I could say that. Or actually, maybe that'd be a horrible idea. I don't know. It's one of those, predicaments. He would. He would definitely win in a fight. He looks grumpy, just like you. He's not worth talking to. I don't think this really matters. Just like you. Banter. Very funny. Yeah, no, he didn't like that. I think I chose that the first time, and I forgot. The two dragons exchanged a few words, and as I met the gaze of the larger, tenebrous dragon a few paces from us, Sebastian turned towards me and spoke up again. Hey, Ink, this is Maverick. Nice to meet you. Yeah, whatever. Just don't expect me to give you any special treatment like everyone else, and we'll be good. What are you talking about? So you're saying you haven't noticed the stairs, and how they all treat you like you're the next Messiah or something? Messiah? The fact that there's a Messiah in, like, their mythology is interesting. No, I just thought... We're not the ones making a big deal out of this, you are. We're just here to get what we agreed on, then we'll be gone. If anything, I'd actually prefer if you left us alone, but you're the one who insists on following me around wherever I go. That growl gets me every time. It's so loud and menacing. A growl escaped the darker dragon's trembling lips as he bared his teeth as Reza. I say every time, it's only happened twice. Or wait, did he make the same growl at the end of the last run? I can't remember now. Because I think he might have, and it did get me then, so I guess the phrase still counts. Alright, that's quite enough. Let's just all go inside already, shall we? After you. Yeah, Maverick's a bit grumpy. in case we weren't aware of this. The crisis was quickly averted as we entered the building, which was characterized by its many floors, high ceilings, and long, narrow hallways as Sebastian led us to our destination. Are those really high ceilings, though? I mean, especially for dragons? Or, I mean, I guess I don't have a good scale. But, like, I think I've noticed that the doors are kind of human-sized, looking at the end of the hallway. Those are actually some ridiculously short ceilings. I mean, unless that door is bigger in this case, but that would... Actually, yeah, that's a pretty short ceiling. Like, the doors of my house, looking behind me, have, like, a good foot clearance. So... Well, I mean, I guess it's a foot to the actual roof, but, like, all the... It's not a balustrade. What am I thinking of? A balustrade goes around a stair or something, doesn't it? The beams. That's what I'm gonna call them, because I can't remember the name, and I'm going off on a tangent again. There you are. I was waiting for you. It's been a really long time since I've had to do the voice, believe it or not. I can't remember. I think I had, like, a slightly British accent for her. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with it. Wait a minute. I thought we were going to meet the guys from production. What are you doing here? They're only coming in later today, so you just have to make do with me. I see. Well, Ink, this is Anna. She kind of manages the building, though actually she's more involved with the research wing rather than production and engineering. Nice to meet you. My pleasure. I have something for you, by the way. It'll take them a while to make all the generators we promised, but we've got one for you here. Feel free to send it home and give it a test. That noise. The timing of that noise made it seem like Reza, like, tripped over it as he walked over, which is a hilarious image in my head. That's great, I'll take it. Looks a little small if you ask me. Don't underestimate its power. Oh, and do be careful not to drop it. Sure, I'll be waiting outside while you do your thing, Ink. I suppose I'll wait for you outside as well. Yeah, what a great escort, huh? Just leaving me immediately with a dragon I just met. I mean, I suppose they can trust Anna. What thing? Oh, have you brought the PDA? Of course, here you go. Alright, now to give this thing a test run. The PDA lit up as her hands swiftly moved around its interface in calculated motions. By the way, would you consider letting me run some tests on you as well? It would only take a drop of your blood. What? Why? I work in biology, so obviously this kind of thing would be very interesting to us. I'd share the results with you, of course. Yeah, sure, why not? I did it the first time. Great. She was quick to produce a small device from a drawer, which from a glance reminded me a lot of a test tube. Now, if you would give me your hand, please. As I reached out to her, she took my hand into hers before she pressed the device into the back of my hand. I winced as pain jolted through my hand. How many times are we going to say hand? Something sharp drove itself through my skin, and shortly afterwards a droplet of blood was sucked into the tube attached to the small needle. Something about the phrasing drove itself into my skin is incredibly unsettling, because it feels like it's not just a tiny needle, it feels like it's a metal rod. Thanks. You're welcome? Looks like your PDA is good, by the way, so we're just about done here. And since we're both in biology, it could be interesting if you want to meet me some other time as well. I can speak. Here's my number. Alright. See you soon. I try to talk too fast before reading to keep the flow going, and that's probably a huge mistake. Well, that was interesting. Did she ask you for your blood too? Yeah. Did you give it to her? I didn't lie the first time. For the most part, I can make the same choices to begin with, I imagine. Because I don't seem to remember any choices that would have any impact, especially during this first section. Oh, well, it's your choice. We've got no idea what they might do with it, though. I'm getting hungry. How about some breakfast? I'm all for it. I can't stand early mornings like this. That shouldn't be a problem. There's a cafe not far from here. What do you say, Mavers? Mavers? Probably Mavers. I think I had a conundrum trying to pronounce that the first time, too. Man, I don't change, do I? I wouldn't mind... Transitioning to the deep voice is very difficult with all these other high-pitched voices. I wouldn't mind to grab a bite myself. That settles it, then. Markers indicate you've already experienced this section in a satisfactory manner. Would you like to skip to the investigation? Nope, not skipping. I was about to skip, and I remembered I don't want to skip this first part, because I haven't recorded it. Luckily for us, the cafe was mostly empty when we arrived, as it was still pretty early in the day. Reza was quick to lead me to a table for two, prompting the dragons to get one of their own at this other side of the restaurant. Ugh, finally. I can't stand that guy being on my tail all the damn time. They do say it's for our own security. But, I mean, he knows that. Does seem rather strange. Maybe he... Yeah, he doesn't like the sarcasm, so maybe I'll go with a different... Maybe I'll get him to trust me a little bit more. Maybe I'll kind of go along with it more. I think that'd be a decent idea. Yeah, I'm not buying their shtick about how it's to keep us safe. I like the word shtick. It's fun to say. Shtick. I have a large shtick. We were approached by an individual who appeared to be the waitress of the cafe. She was an interesting-looking dragon, who, unlike the others I had seen so far, was more akin to a wyvern, possessing two rather large wings as her forelimbs, which resembled those of an oversized bat. Yeah, I actually, for, drawing reference, I had been looking into dragon types. Wyverns are by far my favorite. Oh, it's the humans. Oh, it's a dragon. Reza just doesn't have anything to comment. That's a good one. Welcome to our establishment. My name's Adine, and I'll be your waitress today. What can I bring you to? I haven't eaten breakfast. I want some scrambled eggs and bacon, because that sounds fantastic right now, despite it being, what time is it? 9:43 p.m. Yeah, me too. Just make it quick. Sure thing. 2 scrambled eggs with bacon coming right up. The first time around, I was actually a little, almost scared to pick normal food options, because for some reason I figured dragons wouldn't have the same food, but that was kind of before I understood that it was basically human society with dragons, so I'll be a lot less tentative about that. As I was saying, if you look at the big picture, don't you think there's just something off about this whole place? Where is it really? If this is supposed to be a completely separate place from Earth, or even a different dimension, some things just don't add up. Don't you think so too? He doesn't like sarcasm. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be sure. I wasn't sure. Just, that's the honest option. not taking into account the whole time traveling thing where I actually do know exactly what's happening. I can't really say much more with you-know-who over there. He's probably listening to us right now. Yeah, that's slightly agreeing but sarcastic. That's disagreeing. I don't. No one's opinion's gonna be affected. I'm gonna go along with Reza here a little bit more in case that somehow has some kind of impact. When I let my gaze wander, I saw that Maverick was looking in my direction. Our eyes met briefly, his expression not showing any discernible emotion, while I wondered whether it had just been a coincidence or if he really was able to hear us from the distance. I do have some theories, and if I'm right, we might be in trouble. What kind of trouble? What are you talking about? Shh, be quiet. I'll let you know more as soon as I can. Burping. Hasn't been long since I just ate. But for now, let's just play along. After all, we already have one of these babies. He patted the generator's box for emphasis. God knows we need them. Oh, there she comes. The female returned, astounding me with her ability to balance the dishes on the edges of her wings. She placed her forelimb on the table and proceeded to move dishes from her wing to us with a gentle push of her snout. Yeah, like, I envy servers for being able to balance that on proper arms. I can't imagine trying to balance it on the edge of a wing like that. Like, the wing bones are not very thick. There you go. Enjoy. Now that's just plain mean. Thanks. Yeah, just thanks. Because it's almost funny, but I've barely known her in this timeline, so that would be kind of, I don't know, mixed messages, you know. You're welcome. I was wondering what kind of breakfast could be had in a place like this, but I was pleasantly surprised to find it quite as I was used to. Oh, I was pleasantly surprised to find it quite as I was used to. The only real difference was that they apparently didn't use cutlery. Yeah, it makes sense. When the waitress brought out meals to the two dragons across the cafe and exchanged a few words with them, Reza leaned forward and whispered something to me. I'll send you a letter with a coded message later. You know what to do. Reza rose from his seat before he made it known to me that he still had a few things to do and left the restaurant, followed shortly after by the larger of the two dragons. Did he just not eat? Or was there an implied time passing there? Because I was really confused about that originally, and it wasn't any clearer the second time around. Laters. Yeah, that's like... This character honestly fits me too well. Like, it's kind of weird. I suppose, honestly, they wrote the character in a way that can fit most people very well. Granted that you choose the dialogue options that fits your personality the best, so, you know. I wasn't in a hurry, so I spent a few more minutes in contemplation while I looked out the window and finished my breakfast. Not that this whole situation was already bizarre enough, there was also now the vague sense of danger conveyed by Reza's earlier words. I did not even have an idea what kind of threat might be lurking out there. Which, this is why I thought why the game's text might change, because that kind of thing kind of doesn't make sense now that you have gone back in time. Because the implication was that you went back in time with your memories intact and you had to try and fix things, isn't it? That was the whole implication. Because you're going through the portal back in time, just like we did originally to get here, so why would my memories be gone? But I don't know, maybe... That would be a lot of... Actually, now that I think about it, that would be a whole lot of work to actually do different dialogue and stuff, depending on which paths you had seen and stuff. That would be so much work, so I can see why they didn't. They're just kind of depending on you knowing things. Eventually, I got up, ready to be on my way if whatever else the day might bring. Are you done? Sure am. How'd you like it? It was alright. Glad you enjoyed it. Just wait outside and I'll handle the rest here. Sure thing. Beautiful scenery. I'm sad that we, never get to see this particular shot. This is a really pretty one, really well made. I stepped outside, taking in the scenery of this strangely familiar world. In the short time I was there, I had already found the similarities between their world and our own utterly fascinating. After all, we were talking about an unmapped place with never-before-seen form of life. A never-before-seen form of life. As far as discoveries were concerned, even something as simple as a new unicellular organism or even bacteria would have been remarkable. Yet here I was, standing in the middle of a village evidently built by this race of intelligent talking dragons with a society not unlike our own. Reza didn't seem to share the same interest and instead was more smitten with the generator, but given our reasons for coming here in the first place, I couldn't blame him for his enthusiasm being focused on something else. And given my knowledge, I'm not surprised either. My thoughts were interrupted as something suddenly zipped past me just a little too close, causing me to stumble back. It was a rather small dragon with a bag clamped in its maw who apparently had somewhere to be. Pretty messenger dragon. Or not, maybe, I don't remember actually if this was a messenger dragon or if they were just holding a bag, but pretty dragon. I like that dragon. I regained my footing and watched as it disappeared into the distance. Even though I'd seen enough dragons to recognize the variations in size, color, and other attributes, I guess this one must have been a juvenile of its species. Shortly afterwards, Sebastian joined me outside, having taken care of the tab. I gave her a generous tip on your behalf. I hope you don't mind. Of course not, as long as I don't have to pay the bill. Don't worry about it. In any case, now that you've given us the PDA and Reza has the generator, you're free for today, so if you want to go anywhere in particular, let me know, or I could show you around town. I was tempted to be given a tour, but considering Reza's words, I wanted to be careful and not stray too far without knowing more about this world first. I think I'll stay home for today. I still have to get used to everything, you know? Yeah, 'cause I haven't been here before, wink wink. I'll just accompany you back then. Big ol' winks that you couldn't see. There we are. Yep, I can tell this is my house, thank you. Home sweet home, for now at least. Well, if you need anything, I'll be outside until my shift ends. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, see you tomorrow. See ya. Yeah, again, I was talking about that, I think, an episode or two ago. The closing exchanges go on for like one sentence too long constantly. It's like, we already both said goodbye, why does he have to say goodbye again? I hadn't really looked at the apartment much, so I spent the rest of the day investigating it and relaxing. I considered checking out some of the phone numbers Remy had left me, but I thought it was better to keep a low profile for now. I found the kitchen fully stocked with plenty of groceries, though the variety was wasted on me. I hadn't been a particularly great cook in the first place, but what was more, I didn't even recognize some of the things I found there. Whether they were edibles that we had back home that I just didn't know about, or something completely alien, I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to take the risk of eating anything I didn't know. Except I do literally that later. Or I did literally that later. I think that was before I recorded, but I ate the mystery crate of food, and I got the achievement for it, and that was fun. I didn't die instantaneously, or at any other point, so I guess it wasn't that bad. After all, it was possible that some of the comestibles might be fine for them to eat, but still be poisonous to us. I'm going to say that again, because that was... After all, it was possible that some of the comestibles might be fine for them to eat, but still be poisonous to us. I emphasized all of the wrong words in that sentence. That made it sound so bad. I was also glad to find a shelf that was filled to the brim with a variety of books. While I found the subject matter of man, myth, or reality to be quite intriguing, I had to give up after just a few pages due to its exceptionally dry writing style, which I wasn't inclined to enjoy at the moment. I was not inclined to joy. In the end, I settled for an adventure novel about a dragon archaeologist who stumbles upon the remains of a long-lost human civilization, after which he is hunted by an evil organization who wants to use the found magical artifacts for its own nefarious purposes. While entertaining, I had to admit that it reminded me a little too much of the trashy novels we had back home. I certainly found it amusing that certain tropes were not really unique to us as a species, though I wondered whether this kind of literature had fallen into disfavor here as it had back where I had come from. Yeah, as we learned later, it definitely has. I was reading a particularly exciting scene in which the hero, Sheridan, uses one of the magical artifacts shaped like a pair of human hands holding a scepter with a globe at the top to prevent herself from being crushed and ground into a bloody pulp by an ancient human temple's moving walls when I suddenly heard the doorbell ring. Hello, Lorem. You look like your face looks vaguely odd compared to your actual, dialogue style, and I don't know why, other than the fact it's in a different style. But, all the other characters seem fine when they're redrawn. I don't know, it's weird. Hello there, would you please sign here? I'm not signing away my rights with this, am I? I've got a letter for you that requires signature confirmation. I see. Looking over the clipboard the small dragon was holding up to me, I saw that the sender of the letter in question was Reza. There you go. I'm Lauren, by the way. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions? What is this about? I'm just making small talk. Wait a minute, I recognize you. You tried to do the same thing with Reza. Maybe I should report you to your superiors for your inappropriate behavior towards your clients. Okay, Sebastian, stop being a jerk. But it's important. Please, just let me talk to Ink for a few minutes. You know how it is. If you want an interview with one of the humans, you'll have to get permission from the proper authorities. Help me out here, Ink. As an ambassador, you care about the accurate portrayal of humans in the media, don't you? Then you should talk to me. Otherwise, someone else will just fill in the blanks, and who knows what they'll come up with. Let me show you something. The small dragon opened his bag, rummaging through the number of letters and small packages. Huh, I think I lost it. Anyway, I wanted to show you some pictures of what people think humans look like. On some of them, they have like 4 heads and look nothing like you. It's crazy. What are you, Lorm? A reporter? No, I'm just... Do you want me to remove him, Ink? Is what he's saying true? Yeah, I guess. I see. That sounds pretty interesting, though. Alright, you can leave your number here and maybe I'll call you later, but that's all I can promise. Thank you so much. He quickly produced a small sheet of paper and scribbled his number on it. Afterwards, he sheepishly presented it with both hands. Alright, you got what you wanted. Off you go now. I love that he keeps that, like, finger up pose when he leaves. He looks just, like, shocked by what just occurred. Yep, yeah, that. I'm not even attempt. Oh my god, my voice would die if I actually did that. Sorry about that. Don't worry about it. I guess that should be all. I'll see you tomorrow then. Right. Also, I visited with Lorem, basically right away the first time I played, but I'm going to be pretty much visiting Anna every time I physically have an option to during this run, so yeah, I will not be doing that, because that is also just a lot of chatter that doesn't actually get me anything in the story as far as I can tell. I mean, maybe if I go with Lorem's story a little bit more, it might, but as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't do anything. At least for this run. With all the commotion, I almost forgot that I was still holding Ray's letter. Within the plain envelope was a similarly plain sheet of paper with his handwriting. When I started reading, however, I saw that his wording was so full of the pleasantries I knew he hated that I assumed every word of it was faked as to conceal its true intent. He did mention I'd know what to do, but I was unsure of how I was supposed to decode the letter's secret message. Lemon on the paper, lemon secret ink, put it under the lamp, put it under lamps, put it under heat. Light heat, not like, really, don't like put a match on it, that'll just burn the fucking paper. I didn't remember ever having a conversation about this topic with him, yet he still relied on me to remember what it was that I was missing, or he thought I would just be able to figure it out on my own. Yeah, he's wanting me to remember a specific fucking class, like, years ago, apparently, from what we learned. Hello, my dear friend. I hope this letter reached you swiftly and in good condition. Unfortunately, we were not able to catch up earlier, so I wanted to write you this letter. How have you been these last few years? What have you been doing? How's the family? I feel like there's so much we should talk about, since we have not seen each other much recently. At least we have a chance to do so in this form. Quite an exciting adventure we're on now, right? How have you liked it here so far? Made any dragon friends yet? Haha. Anyways, I'll be looking forward to your reply soon. Best regards, Reza. Yeah, no, that sounds literally nothing like him, especially knowing how he ends up by the end of the game. Run. Technically end of the game? No, end of the game would be like getting the true ending, whatever that happens to be. The end of the run. The end of most runs. Actually, I imagine that's just how he is by the end of all runs, but we figure out a way to stop him in the good runs. I don't know. Anyway, various things came to mind. Only reading certain words or letters is one that I thought of immediately, but I couldn't make out anything after trying to find a system within its array of letters and lines. Maybe I had to look more carefully. I think I had to look elsewhere, and I, found Lemon. Or maybe he referred to the fact that we were both given an apartment. Considering the things it provided for us, maybe I just had to find the right objects to decode the message. There were many everyday items here, though, and of course I still had no idea what in particular I was looking for. Look in the kitchen for lemon. I think the lemon was in the fridge. Plenty of stuff in here. Look at the... Oh, this is how I got the achievement, I think. This doesn't matter, just examine an unlabeled container. This is an unlabeled container with some sort of white liquid inside. Well, here's nothing. I like how, it doesn't even give you the option, do you drink it or not? It's just if you even decide to examine the container, you just go for it. It's salty. That vaguely concerned me the first time, and if you can't tell why, then you don't need to know. Okay, maybe it was actually in the pantry. Just some fruits and veggies here. What should I look at? Lemon. Lemons, lemons, lemons! Of course, why didn't I realize it sooner? Lemon juice is about the simplest way to write a hidden message using household items. We learned about that in chemistry, in the most boring detail, of course. A message written in lemon juice on paper becomes just about invisible to the naked eye when dried, but after heating it gently, oxidization occurs, making the message visible. I haven't taken biology in a bit. My words are fumbled. My mouth is fumbled. My speech is... none of that actually really made sense. I'm just gonna keep going. I was sitting next to him in class when he learned that. He made a joke about using the method to cheat on the next test, and I replied by saying you'd have to bring an iron. Had he really expected me to remember a random chemistry class that happened years ago? But then I did remember it after all. Meet me at the portal tonight, 10 p.m. was all the message said. I wasted a good amount of time, but I still had some time left before I'd have to go out to meet Reza, so I decided to make some lunch. Afterwards, I resumed reading my book about the continuing ventures of Sheridan and her exploits in destroying cultural artifacts. Found that sentence vaguely amusing the first time. I literally have not changed. I'm gonna stop saying what I did the same the first time, unless it's a choice, because I keep just saying it because I haven't changed in the slightest. I am still the same person. Also, I'm kind of rushing through this because since I have seen most of it, I'll talk about the stuff I want to talk about, but for the most part, I just want to get through this part, because then we're going to start skipping the text I've seen. Unsurprisingly, it came to a happy end with the Eagle organization. With the evil organization stopped in its tracks, at least for now. I thought the ending was deliberately left open for ambiguity, but when I turned the page and saw the advertisement for the next entry in this apparently long-running series of books, I realized all of this had just been a ploy to set up the inevitable sequel. Luckily, the disappointment didn't last long, as I had to get going to meet Reza at the portal. There is this series of books called The Last Dragon Chronicles. I don't know if anyone watching this might have read it, but it's honestly a pretty fantastic series of books. Basically about this family of potters that have the secret of, it's been a while, so I don't quite remember, but they basically have the secret of, dragon fire, and they imbue their clay sculptures of dragons with it, and they come to life. It's actually really neat, but I got to, the end of one of the books. I don't remember how long the series actually is. It's actually been so long, but I got to the end of one of the books, and it didn't say on that book anywhere that there was a sequel, and it was left on such a huge cliffhanger that when I read the cliffhanger, I was like, oh, there's got to be a sequel. But then when I looked around and didn't see anywhere that there was definitely a sequel, I went, or maybe there isn't, and that's just the most ambiguous ending I've ever seen in my life. But no, and then I looked it up half an hour later because I literally spent that long fretting over it. I'm not kidding. I was laying in bed when I finished. I went to bed at around 8 and didn't end up going to sleep until 2 a.m. because I just finished reading the entire second half of the book. But I literally sat there for the next half an hour fretting about it like I do when I get tired. And then I finally looked it up and I was relieved that there were more books. But I still had to go and buy them, so it was a little annoying. But anyway, I digress a lot. That's the third time now. But I mean, if I'm not adding anything to the video, if I'm just reciting what's on the screen, then what fun is that, you know? When I got outside, it didn't seem quite as dark as it was when I arrived yesterday. I might have had difficulties finding my way otherwise, but I could still see the portal in the distance. I don't know, that looks pretty freaking dark. As I was walking, I wondered if anyone was following me, but the land seemed oddly deserted. Was everyone already asleep? Portal. The design for the portal truly is minimalistic in a way that makes it seem like it could work. Making a portal look like it could actually work without going into intricate detail is very difficult. So the minimalist style of drawing this portal basically does exactly the opposite, but achieves the same effect. Eventually, I arrived at my destination. Reza was already standing idly by the portal, his fidgeting making it obvious that he had waited just for me. I was already wondering whether you'd get it at all. Guess I did. Yep. What a wonderful night it is. Just look up at the stars. You can see them so clearly here, without all the pollution lingering in the air like back home, almost as if you're looking right into the face of eternity itself. Now, you see, I wonder if here he was hinting at the fact that he had used the stars to determine the fact they were in the past. That's something that's just occurred to me, because he talked about how he had determined, using his PDA, that the stars were all in a different position, which meant that they were millions of years in the past. For so long, humanity thought we'd find aliens out there, yet after all these years, we found we were still alone in the universe. Turns out we were just not looking in the right place. What's going on, Reza? Why'd you call me here at this time? For one, because we're sending the generator home. Right. Before I was sent here, they told me that they would limit the use of the portal as they couldn't afford to keep it open all the time. In order to keep in contact with us and to enable us to send things over to them, the portal would be open for just a quarter of an hour each day. Wait, I think what happens here is Maverick was still following Reza because Maverick's freaking obsessed. Rightfully so, I suppose, but he is. And Reza shoots him and runs off, and then that's why we have to start investigating. I think that's what happens here. Sending something back home wasn't really problematic for us, since the high energy expenditure associated with it sending bigger objects only affected the sender, not the receiver. However, this also meant that until all business was concluded in regards to our trade with the PDAs and the generators, we were basically stuck here. As for the other, do you know what this place is? You said something about trouble. How much danger are we in, really? More than enough. I'm afraid this whole place will be gone soon. Now we better not be here when it happens. Yeah, he so knows already. He was so hinting at it by looking up at the stars. Was this option here the first time? This is when I wish I was recording so I could go back and check. But, I mean, because I do know, like I said, I'm gonna kind of go along with Reza a little bit more, kind of get him to trust me more, potentially. You do? Well, then you know what we've got to do, right? Yeah. How'd you find out? It took me quite a while, but maybe we can compare notes and make sure we're right. While he was speaking, my gaze wandered and fixed on some movement nearby. It was hard to make out anything, but I imagine it might have just been the wind blowing through the nearby shrubbery, except for the fact that there was no wind. Reza. This might take a while to explain, but we've got the whole night. Reza, look. He turned around to face whatever I was seeing. He squinted hard before he called out. You! How dare you follow me even here? The disturbance came closer until it became clear that it was Maverick, who had hidden nearby to listen in on our conversation. I knew you were up to no good. What were you talking about? What are you planning here? Some kind of attack? Wait a minute, there's no reason for... Don't try to deny it. I heard you both talking about it in the cafe, and I saw the letter. You think I couldn't smell the lemon on it? Pathetic. You'll have to come with me to the police station now, both of you. I think this is where the gun gets pulled out? Come on, I think you're overreacting. Yeah, cut. Yeah, it doesn't even give you a proper chance to read. Reza, what are you doing? Come on, Ink, let's get out of here. Nope. In the dragon's side, I could see the wound where the bullet had penetrated his hide, a trickle of blood staining his dark scales in the earth beneath. Reza used the opportunity to run off in some direction. I wasn't sure which. How hard can it be to just look where he's going? I'm sorry, but, like, am I actually, like, disabled in the brain? I frantically scanned my surroundings looking for Reza, though he had already vanished into the darkness. What was I supposed to do? Run away as well? Help Maverick? I was just a diplomat, and I had no idea what was happening. Suddenly, the dragon whipped around, hitting me in the guts with its thick tail. I was lifted off the ground briefly before I felt the impact of my body hitting the ground hard enough that my vision blurred almost immediately. I have had that experience before. It is not pleasant. Yeah, he roars a lot. A deafening roar battered my ears. Was this a cry for help? I could barely move, but I found it better not to try, as to not startle the wounded dragon more than he already was. It certainly would have ended badly for me if he tried anything. Running out of breath. I heard him take a few unsure steps before he lay down on the ground, panting. I'm still watching you, you know. You better not move for your own good. If I have to get up again and come after you in this condition, I can promise you I won't be nice. It took a few minutes of listening to his labored breathing before someone arrived. It was two dragons. The first I recognized as Sebastian, the other one I didn't know. I heard Sebastian and Maverick exchange a few words when the stocky fellow approached me. And Bryce. Why have I never noticed that design on his tail? That's a neat tail. It's like a, ankylosaurus? It's like a small ankylosaurus thing. Hey kid, you alright? Yeah, I think I'm alright. I know I'm alright, in fact. Haha, time traveler. Woohoo. I'm Bryce, the chief of police in this town. Can you tell me what happened? Razor shot Maverick and ran off. Is that so? His face was stern and seemingly lost in thought as I overheard Sebastian's conversation. Yeah, but you're the flyer on duty. We probably won't find him now. Not here in the darkness, at any rate. Well, that's just brilliant. What do you think, Chief? Can you walk? Yeah, I think so. I know so. Time traveler. Haha. Alright, Sebastian, tanking to the apartment. Get us some help here from Maverick, and then we'll look for Reza. Right on. Come on, Ink, I'll help you out. Back at the apartment. I was still shaken up by the events I had just witnessed when I arrived at the apartment. Not knowing anything better to do, I soon fell into a deep slumber. The next day, I woke with many questions lingering in my head. I considered calling someone from the police department to ask about Reza and Maverick, but in the end, I decided against doing so, as I was sure they would contact me if they had anything to tell me. I knew it was no use worrying about it for now, so I settled for starting another book. It didn't take very long, though, before the doorbell rang. Did Bryce, the chief of police, take it upon himself to escort me today? Oh, it's you again. Are you surprised? No, but I guess it'll mean bad news. Afraid so. How are you holding up? Better than yesterday, that's for sure. Let's go for a walk then, shall we? Sure. This time I was taken along a different route than yesterday, and I was quite sure that there was more to this than just taking a walk. I'll just go ahead and guess you didn't find Reza. Yeah, we hoped he would have come back on his own by now. Do you have any idea where he might be? Maybe he mentioned some sort of place in particular that holds some meaning to him? He didn't mention it, but I know the lab under the plate. No, he has a shack. Can I mention the shack? I don't know. I don't know what the timeline, like the constraints of time travel in this timeline are. I feel like I could totally mention that shack he was probably holed up in if it was following the constraints I would think it is, but probably isn't. No, not really. We didn't get a chance to talk much at all yesterday before. There's that, too. I have no idea why Reza would have done anything like that. I had the impression that they weren't very fond of each other, but this... How is he, by the way? Oh, Maverick's doing fine, but there's plenty of blame to go around. You're right, they didn't particularly like each other. Bodily functions do not cease simply because I am recording. That is why I continue to burp. In his statement, Maverick says he suspected Reza of planning some sort of attack. Do you know anything about that? No, he only told me something was going to happen, not that he was planning anything. At least that's the impression I got. He's suspecting you too, by the way, that you both planned this all from the beginning. No, that wouldn't make sense. Actually, none of this is making any sense. Why would he go through all the lengths of our agreement only to jeopardize it by doing something like this? Because I'm a time traveler, I know the answer, but the game's not going to let me say it. That's a bit of a predicament, and something I'm going to kind of let go past this point. If I did actually go back in time with all my knowledge, then I should be able to interject a few more things, but yeah, again, all that dialogue would be kind of ridiculous. You even already have our PDAs, and we don't have much to show for it yet. If we had any nefarious plans, this wouldn't have been a very good idea. You have a good point. I believe you, but from our side, we only have Maverick's word on the whole matter. After all, he was the one who spent the most time with Reza since he arrived here. But even then, he didn't really have any reason to follow you yesterday, and his behavior was completely out of line. I'm just glad you came out fine. If he wasn't on mandatory sick leave, he would be suspended right now. We'll have to wait until this whole thing is over before we decide what to do with him. I can assure you this won't be taken lightly. Where I come from, this kind of attack on a diplomat would be classified as an act of war, punishable by death. Wait, what did he actually just say? I completely missed it. Not correct. I'm pretty sure this fits. I could just go back. I can assure you this won't be taken lightly. Okay, yeah. I hope so. I personally guarantee it. We still got a lot on our hands now, though. We have a wounded dragon and a missing human. This could lead to a diplomatic crisis. Maybe Reza will still show up soon and we can get all this behind us. He won't show up, but he'll certainly make his presence known. I hope so, too. I really wouldn't want to jeopardize everything over this unfortunate incident. Yeah, how about we both just keep quiet about this whole thing for now? After all, I don't think any of us wants our people panicking about this already, right? I merely nodded in agreement. The good old police station with the phone that can ring but doesn't exist. I'm gonna invent jingles for everywhere we go. Eventually, we arrived at the police station, where the chief took my formal statement in regards to yesterday's events. He asked me about Reza and Maverick, too, not that I knew much of anything that preceded yesterday's events, or the mysterious catastrophe Reza had mentioned. I do know about it, though. Okay. Afterwards, he thanked me and left me to file my statement while I sat by his table, waiting and listening to the going-ons of this small provincial town and police department. Also, again, talking about whether or not talking about the stuff I do know, please feel free to let me know if you know in the comments whether or not the option to say that I know what's going to happen was there the first playthrough, because I really don't remember. When he returned, he was approached by someone who seemed to have urgent news. A lot of talking between the two ensued that I couldn't make out from my position. This went on for a bit until Bryce returned to me. Afraid I have more bad news for you. Reza has now officially become a murder suspect. Murder? We're headed to the crime scene and hope you'd come with us. Me? A crime scene? I don't really know much about forensics. It's just that you're the only link to Reza we have. Consider what he said would happen to us. It's in all of our interests that we find him as soon as possible, and if he has anything to do with it, you might be able to help us find him. Time to visit dead green dragon, which is pretty much the only name I have for this dead dragon. Your cooperation would certainly be appreciated, and it would be a nice gesture to show us that you're trustworthy in the eyes of those who might think otherwise after what happened yesterday. Will you help us? I will help you, of course. Respectfully declining, I feel like might have pertinence in other storylines or routes or whatever you want to call them, but not this one. Not in my books. I suppose I don't really have much choice here, but you're right. We've got to find Reza, and if that's what it takes, then I'll do it. Very well, let us go then. On our way to the crime scene, he tried to prepare me for what would come. I had studied biology, so I was familiar with the sight of dead animals. Asking myself how similar this would be, I wondered if my reaction would be any different if it wasn't a dragon, but a human corpse I would be seeing. It's definitely not different for me, because at this point, dragons are basically just humans that look different in my head. When we arrived, we were met by Sebastian, who gave us an overview of the whole situation. This morning, the victim was found dead by delivery flyer for the restaurant. That's Dean. Blood loss from multiple wounds are the likely cause of death. Forensics is already here, so feel free to poke around. A few paces in front of us, the unfortunate victim lay on the ground, covered by a sheet that concealed the body, but not the large red stain underneath. It's like Christmas. Green dragon with a red blood stain. Oh, that's dark. Okay. We approached while Sebastian went off to deter any curious onlookers. I know it won't be pretty, and I'm sorry for putting you through this, but you know what's at stake here. Just remember what I told you, and you should be fine. Alright. Are you ready? I guess so. ... It's like, I have to wonder what... Oh, I'm stupid. Yeah, no, there's a cut across the throat. I was like, what dealt the killing blow? There's not that much blood from the rest of the cut. There's a slash across his jugular. What do I mean? What do you think? Well, he's definitely dead. Nice one, Sherlock. Yeah, rip. I have to wonder if they just abbreviated rest in peace, and he was meant to have said rest in peace, or if he actually said rip. I don't remember what I even said the first time, but, like, I'm just gonna say rip, because that's kind of funny. In a grim way. Let's just say this will be your test, and tell me what you're gonna do from what you see. Give it your best shot. Investigation start. 2 wings, 2 legs, just like the waitress at the cafe, and about as big as a human, lengthwise, if not slightly taller. The wingspan would certainly look impressive at that size. Slashes on the wings. And slashes everywhere else. The wounds are kind of hard to miss. True, but what are they telling you? The perpetrator, that doesn't say this. It was not suicide. You don't cut yourself that many times in a suicide. Well, I guess if you did these first, you wouldn't necessarily die before you did this. So I guess you could be. Not the case though, because then how do you get blood on your teeth? He's already done when he got these wounds. Probably not the case. That's like a sharp one. That's really all I can say. They're clean cuts, like from a knife or other sharp instrument. Actually, I guess maybe if I say that's an unusually small or large person, it might have implications, but I don't know. Probably nothing important right now. That's true, but why does this matter? Could only have been someone with hands. I like how the game, in many dialogue branches like this, with these big dialogue trees, it's like, it just really presses a certain option. Like, when we were visiting with the dean, it just kept pressing that you wanted to call the magazine trash with every dialogue option. In this one, it's pressing with every option that you can just say it was suicide, even though that makes no sense. Okay, either way, could only have been someone with hands. That's right, only those of us who walk on 2 legs have the proper dexterity to wield a knife effectively. Most other dragons would probably just bite instead. Of course, there's rules on most of the bigger dragons and flyers. But then Reza still has his... what was it called again? I mean, his gun? Yeah, if it was him, why would he kill someone with a knife rather than just use his gun on him? Makes him look cooler. The suicide thing is gonna always get me. Every time the game's been this persistent about an option, I've just, like, cracked up over it too much. He wouldn't because it wasn't him. I feel like there is 100% a route where you try to convince them Reza's innocent, and you end up getting, like, arrested yourself or something. That's gotta be a route, and it's probably gonna end up happening at some point, but not this time. He didn't want to make any noise. Yeah. He did not want to make any noise. After all, he ran away from Maverick, trying to hide from the police. Something as loud as a gunshot would have easily given away his position and alerted others in the area. Right, that could be a good reason. By the way, which wound do you think was the lethal one? Yeah, I'm sure wing wounds are super lethal. Most dragon anatomy I've really seen, most of the blood does not travel through the wings. It's mostly minor. And while it can be incredibly painful, and a large wound can also cause some pretty decent blood loss, slashes like that would not cause fatal injuries. But clearly the one on his neck. I think it was the one on his neck. That's right. If all the blood from it wasn't a giveaway, this is a stab wound, characterized by a rather small footprint. You can tell it's also the deepest one. And from the location, it's pretty obvious this must have done tremendous damage. Give me a moment. Holy crap, my... Yep, nope, body functions do not cease for recording, as I've mentioned. What else do you see? Much blood. Well, there's a lot of blood. The blood splatter suggests that he has AIDS. He committed suicide. No. So done with this. Nope, all the blood's in one place, so he wasn't dragged here. That's clearly blood. That's just stupid. He, in fact, must have died here because the blood is not trailing anywhere else, and clearly blood loss was the cause of death. Well, is blood loss technically the cause of death if you get cut across the jugular? I think it is, right? Or, like, sometimes... I think it's like a 50-50 in a way, whether you die from blood loss or from choking on your own blood. I guess, but yeah, chances are he died here. He died here, else there would have been a trail we could follow. The splatters also suggest this is where they fought. That's true. Unfortunately, it doesn't help with determining who the perpetrator is. Objection! I hate you. I hate me, wait. Excuse me? Sorry, I just always wanted to say that. Go on, please. I think Price has a decent sense of humor. I do like him. Yep, blood on the jaw. What about the blood on his muzzle? You tell me. He's a vampire! He bit his tongue while he was committing suicide to distract himself from the pain from all the cuts before he slit his throat. He has gum disease, he has a bloody steak. Yeah, he fought back. Yeah, we learned that is definitely the case later. It might be the perpetrator's blood. Yes, that is true. I expect forensics already took a sample of it, so it might actually help us determine who the perpetrator is. I think that's just about everything. Investigation over. Wait, I actually don't remember what that jingle is from. Is that... I want to say it's Zelda, but... Oh, Lord. If it's not Zelda, someone's gonna hate me for that. No, that's something else. That's like, is that Mario? Oh, God. It's just... Feel free to tell me in the comments. I'm making such a fool of myself. I'm gonna move on. You know what, kid? I'm impressed. Maybe we should have you around more often. It would be hard to have me around more often if I just got here. Hey, Chief, do you still need the witness here for anything? Sebastian approached with the dragon who had discovered the body earlier. I recognized her as Adine, the waitress from the cafe. She seemed distraught, which, given the situation, wasn't very surprising. I don't think so. Take her to the department, get her statement written up, and that should be it. Sure thing. Right, miss, we're gonna have to take you to the department. Of course. When she spotted me, however, her composure brightened visibly. Oh, it's the human! Go away. I have a name, you know. Actually, I don't. You never told me it. It's Zinc. What are you even doing here? Do you work for our police now? Looks like it. Pretty much. Maybe I should be calling you officer then. I don't think I'm quite there yet. By the way, I didn't know you also did deliveries. I do a little bit of everything, really. That's nice. I loved my scrambled eggs yesterday. If you like it so much, why don't you take our number? We could deliver something to you next time if you don't want to come in. Thanks. I forgot about that. It's such a grisly cough for the voice I've given Sebastian. It's kind of hilarious. Sorry, I guess we should get going. Bye! Goodbye. What do we do now? I suppose we'll head off too, unless... Oh no. What is it? Maverick's here! Maverick's here! He's the one that always shows up at the worst of times. And also, I think, like, once at, like, the best of times if he hadn't gotten shot and died. But, yeah, sure, that jingle was horrible. That doesn't fit him at all. Wait, Maverick shows up at the worst of times, because every time he does, things just seem to get worse. Yeah, I think that works. It's gonna be a thing now, isn't it? I hate myself. We've got a violent homicide, and of course nobody from the department tells me. You're on sick leave. I have to find out from a neighbor who wanted to ask me about it. Good thing rumors travel fast, eh? You're on sick leave. Of course nobody told you. You're on sick leave. Mandatory sick leave, if I might add. I'm not here on any official capacity, you see. I'm merely enjoying a curative walk in the fresh air and happened to come across you by accident. What do you want? You're on sick leave. Go away. I don't want anything. I just find it interesting that no one tells me about this, but the prime suspect's buddy can mess around at the investigation. I see how it is. I know what you're thinking, but don't jump to the conclusions here. The conclusions. Don't jump to those specific conclusions you currently have in your head. I know you're doing it. I know you're doing it, Maverick. I almost called him Bryce. I almost called you me. It's fine. I don't need to jump to conclusions. I think the dead body we found says it all. You really have an attitude problem. You know, if you weren't on sick leave, you'd be suspended right now for attacking Ink yesterday. Do you even have any idea what kind of repercussions this could have on us all? Me attack Ink? As far as I can see, I'm the only one who's injured here. Besides, I'm so sorry for apparently being the only one who's doing his damn job. Right, let's just all sit idly by while the suspect's on the loose and planning his next move. You know, whatever it was Reza was talking about, he was going to tell me just before he showed up yesterday. I don't need to hear you, of all people, belittling me about this. What's your problem? If anything, I wanted to find him just as much as you do. Don't compare yourself to me. Your words mean nothing. Actually, they're plain English. They mean very clear words. They're much more clear than Latin, anyway. Latin can be so freaking confusing out of context. Enough. You shouldn't even be here, so you better go now and get some rest before I have to take disciplinary action. Fine, but when we find him, you'll see I was right. If I have to prove it myself, so be it. You know, Reza did this. We are very aware of that. Can he even just do his own investigation like that? Well, as long as he doesn't interfere with us, we can't really stop him from doing things in his own free time. I see. I suspect he wouldn't adhere to the standards of performing an unbiased investigation, though. He's already made up his mind. It's clear to me he won't be looking for facts, just for evidence to support his own view in order to prove it to us or himself. Who knows? He's always been like that. Always something to prove. We'll have to be careful. He'll be looking for Reza soon enough. To be fair, I might be too if I was shot. Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly why he wouldn't be on the case even if he wasn't on sick leave. Yep. Don't worry, Reza will turn up eventually. I surely hope so. All things considered, I had to admit that there remained a possibility that Maverick was right. But could the Reza I knew really be a murderer? Yes. Remember, you're a time traveler. Bring those thoughts up in your measly little brain that apparently can only remember one timeline at once. Which, actually, would kind of be impressive if you could go into a separate timeline to begin with. Forget actually remembering the other ones. So you know what? My brain is not measly. My character's brain is not measly. Well, no, my character's brain is measly. My character's abilities aren't. Wait, my character didn't do anything. I just walked through a teleporter. Never mind, my character's brain sucks. You know what? If you think of something that might help with the investigation, or if you need anything else, just call me. I will. Well, I think we're done here. Let's go. Back at the apartment. Running out of time in this recording session. Okay, I think this is the part where I get a choice on what to do, so I'm probably going to go meet with Anna, and I think that'll be the end of this, because I think that's pretty much perfect. Bryce led me back to... Let me try that one again. I don't know what I just said, but it wasn't English. Bryce led me back to the apartment. I guess there really wasn't much for me to do in the meantime, and I was spared the more arduous parts of the investigation. Maybe I should have been glad about this, though now I had an afternoon to fill. What should I do? Originally I met with Lorem here, I believe. So I'm going to meet with Anna. Because I'm meeting with her every possible chance. And I'm going to hope that that somehow doesn't also drive her down a bad path somehow. That would be bad to say the least. I'm sure I'll be advised on it if that's going to do anything horrible. She told me to meet her here, so she's got to be around here somewhere. The production facility had many different wings, covering everything from research to processing, in addition to production. It was easy to get lost if you didn't know where you were going. I heard some commotion in the distance, and when I approached, I was surprised to see not only Anna, but Remy as well. They seemed to be in the middle of a heated conversation. I thought it would be inappropriate to approach now, so I remained several paces back, out of their field of vision, but still close enough to be able to make out their words, because eavesdropping is great! I love eavesdropping. It gives me all the tidbits. Oh, jeez. I haven't had to make Remy's voice in so long. Oh, no, it was like... As stereotypical as it is, it was like somewhat sophisticated, like, English accent. But also at the same time, like, kind of nervous. Oh, jeez. Okay. We have heard the rumors. So you came to me on the basis of rumors. Is that how you operate? What do you want from me? This is not the first time you've been in trouble, you know. They might not be so lenient with you this time. I don't know what you're talking about. Consider this a warning. You should proceed carefully for your own good. If you wanted to threaten me, the least you could have done was send someone more intimidating. You may be larger than I am, but even I can see you're just a big coward. You wouldn't dare put your dirty claws on me. I wouldn't. I'm here as a courtesy to you, not to threaten or intimidate. Do with that information whatever you wish. You know we'll be back, and if they find anything, there will be consequences. Do you think I care? This attitude of yours is not helpful. Neither are you. Well, I've said what I came here to say. Good luck. Whatever. Remy turned to leave and started walking in my direction. I ducked behind a pillar, and when he went past, I wasn't sure if he'd seen me. Either way, he left, and I was safe to approach now. Records indicate you've already experienced this scene in the No. No. System, shut the fuck up. I'm recording this again. This is actually just Jingletown. This is like if it's Christmas in Wait, oh, how am I this bad? It's, what, July. It's July. We just had 4th of July stuff. How did I forget that? Oh my god. Sense of time is horrible. It's Christmas in July. We're in Jingletown. That was the joke I was trying to make. What's that all about? Think so? Think that's good? No. Bad choice. Bad touch. Bad touch. No. Bad choice. Hey, Anna. She might not want to talk about it. Hey, Ink. Wait, how long have you been here? We're not gonna lie. I don't want to lie. Not that it matters much anyway, that's just par for the course for me. I know Remy, what's the problem? The nerve of that guy! He probably wouldn't be so uptight if it wasn't for that thing with his girlfriend a few years ago. But I don't care about him. It's his superiors that are the problem. They don't like me and the research I'm doing. They cite their traditions and values, claiming that those are what have kept us alive for so long. If anything were to change, it would obviously fracture the base of the society it's built on. The base this society is built on, cause it all to collapse, tear families, and allow all hell to break loose. At least if you believe those old-timers who keep repeating these phrases. And all that nonsense because of my research. Valuable research that could save lives, mind you. And what kind of research are we talking about? I could show you sometime, but we're here to have fun, right? I thought you wanted to show me, since you said we were both in biology and all that. Sure, but after doing this all day, you'll have to excuse me for not wanting to talk about it even more. Wasting my time with that guy was just another setback. Not that I don't already have more than enough work to do. Even right now, I'm supposed to be working overtime. Guess you can give me the tour some other time, then? I will. Oh, and thanks for the blood, by the way. The results aren't in yet, but I'll let you know when they are, and hopefully you survive that long this time. Haha! Hopefully I don't receive them in the frickin' mail after you're dead. Like 3 days after you... Okay. I'm gonna start obsessing over keeping her alive now, apparently. That's just the thing. To be fair, why wouldn't I? I mean, after seeing her mutilated body on the ground in front of me, why wouldn't I? Good, I'm just as curious about the results as you are. No, you aren't. I am. I am way curiouser than you are. Curiouser? Is that even a word? It is, since an author popularized its use where I came from. Then I am way more curiouser than you are. You should have just said curiouserest, obviously. I think I made that exact same joke to myself. And then... this character's so like me. Not if I'm the curiousest. Excuse me for a moment, but I must weep for the English language. At this rate, why don't you just say you're the most curiousest? Wait! Oh, I remember now. I made the joke. I said curiousest, and then she made the same joke I made. Oh, I swear we're made for each other. I'm not sure. I'm not a linguist. Are you? Not exactly, but I have a way with words. My tongue is quite skilled, or so I hear. Some might even say cunning. In any case, if you have to work overtime today, does that mean I should wait for you, or do you want to come back another time? Do you want me to come back another time? Neither. I think my break should start right about now. What a lucky coincidence. It is, isn't it? So, where are we going? I don't know where you're going, but I think I need a coffee or 5. You can tag along if you like. Coffee or 5. Oh, I know the feeling some days. It would be my pleasure. We'll see if it'll be mine as well. I hope you brought your own money, though, because I'm not sharing. I didn't, but everything I purchased is taken care of by my ambassador status. Nice. Actually, that opens up some very interesting possibilities. It might, but I'd rather not do anything too fishy. I don't want to raise any suspicion, you know. Good point. Well, let's go then. After you, m'lady. This is why I was so freaking sad when Anna was just dead. Like, I knew I'd be able to go back and try again, but I just felt like I felt like we really hit it off, you know? Especially after the Curiousarist. Finally, I can't wait to get some coffee into my system. Oh, hello, Ink. Nice to see you again. Hey, who's your companion? Can't you just take my order? I apologize. Let me try that again. Welcome to our establishment. My name's Adine, and I'll be your waitress today. What can I bring you to? I like how Adine's just amused by the situation. I'll have a coffee. Thank you. And what can I bring the esteemed gentle person at the other side of the table? Yeah, you know what? No, just give me a coffee, too. Make it easy. Actually, would it be easier? Technically, the soda would be easier. Whatever. I just want coffee. Whatever. No problem. I'll be right back. What's her problem? I'm here to order something, not to chit-chat with the employees. I know her. It's fine. If you say so. Here you go, enjoy. The thought that she got the coffee and brought it back fresh in the amount of time that that took for us to say those words is pretty impressive. Ah, I totally needed that. So you work in that facility. And your point is? What's your job there? I mean, what do you do exactly? We do all kinds of things. The truth is, we just have all kinds of specialized machinery there, which is used by many different people for many different purposes. I skipped that early. Why did my finger do that? The building is owned and run by the council, who oversees the schedule. It's quite handy, since you can go from research to testing and even manufacturing all in the same complex. I started out as a researcher in biology, which is still my main job, but I've been there so long and learned the ins and outs of the building so well that eventually I was asked to take over some of the managerial duties. Sure, it means more work, but it also allows me to run a personal project every once in a while. Does that sate your curiosity? It does sound like a very fascinating place, though I've only seen glimpses. I'm not sure I'd go so far as to call it fascinating, but it surely does give me a lot of opportunities. Oh, I forgot to ask you what you actually plan to do with my blood and the test results. What is this, an interrogation? Yes, totally. You can call your lawyer if you'd like. Maybe I should. I'll tell you hit me and then sue for damages. Alright, I'll finish my drink quietly then, if that's what you'd prefer. Sorry, I'm just stressed from all the work lately. I'm not getting much respite between my regular work, overtime, personal projects, and other disturbances like that Remy sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. What do you usually do during your free time? Having a good work-life balance is very important, you know. I love my job, I really do. Actually, I love it so much that even in my free time, I still do things that have to do with biology. As I said, I've got the opportunity to do my own projects sometimes, so that's what I focus on when I get the chance. It would be a shame to pass up an opportunity like that without using it. With the current influx of work, I rarely leave the facility if I'm not eating or sleeping. Even right now, I'm only on break and have to go back for another shift. Your, break that happened to line up with my appearance, say. Maybe you should do something else for a change. Maybe, but right now that's not really an option. It would help if the council weren't constantly sending their lackeys to mess with me. So that wasn't the first time? No, I suppose I'm on their watch list or something. Why is that? It's a long story, and not one for a first date. So you're saying this is a date? No, I'm saying that even if this was a date, which would be much more than whatever this is, it wouldn't be very appropriate. Stories about work aren't very romantic. It's always about work with you. Come on, you're on break. Maybe we should do something to take your mind off all that for once. Like what? I'm not sure. Do you have any other hobbies? Not really. I am addicted to work. I do nothing but work 24/7. Hey, waitress. Waitress that Anna wants nothing to do with. How can I help you? Do you have anything here to entertain your guests? Any games or other distractions? I'm not sure. Let me go check. What exactly are you trying to do? I'm being cute and spontaneous? I'll remember this day. For good or for bad, I'm not sure yet. It's more for the kids, but we don't really have anything else. It's fine, thank you. Have fun. A board game? Really? I know it's not... I hate that word. I hated that word before, I hate that word now. I know it's not Kaniski's textile merchant, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Textile merchant? Kaniski? It's a game, never mind. Well, I'm not convinced that this will accomplish anything, unless your goal is to make me regret this day. It seems to be a trivia game. Do you have any good general knowledge? Do you even know what kind of advanced knowledge I have to memorize and work with every single day? Do you even know what kind of advanced knowledge I have to work with? You know what? You get the point. You bet I have a good general knowledge. Certainly more than enough to beat a foreigner like you. If you're so confident, maybe we should make a bet. What do you have in mind? Let's say if I win, I'll get to go on a real date with you. No fitting me in during your break, no complaining about everything, and no acting as if you're doing me a favor, especially because it was you who wanted to meet me in the first place. And if I win, you'll have to come in sometime so I can run more tests on you. If that's what you want, so be it. Let's do this then. Oh, I have to see if I can remember my answers from first time, because I did this encounter in the first run, too. I have to see if I can remember what my correct answers were, and then I'm pretty sure if I can remember that, I got the last one wrong, I think. If I can choose the other answer that's probably the right one, I might actually get them all right. And if I had recorded, I could go back and look, but I did not. Since it was your idea, it's only fair that I start. So how does this work? It seems to be pretty simple. We take turns drawing cards and asking questions until we both ask the number that we agree on beforehand. Whoever gets more right in the end wins. How many questions shall it be then? How about 5? Let's make it 3. Not sure how long this will take, and my break won't be for too long either. Alright, go ahead. Go ahead, then. I saw mischief in her eyes, her stare piercing, paired with the hint of arrogant smirk that exposed her anticipation. She seemed confident that she would win and loved every second of it. Slowly, her hand went over to the deck of cards and drew the topmost. Round 1. Wow. Voice not pretty. Who is cited as one of our most important historians, his work spanning over 20 books, credited with mapping out our entire history since the beginning of sentience. Oh no, yeah, no, these are like, it was not Damien Dandelion. Ah, no, I so wish I could remember. I want to get these all right just to see what happens. No, wait, idea. Wait, I can just save. Oh, geez, I didn't even consider this. Yeah, we'll save in new ones. Yep, okay. Okay, we're saving here. I think we're gonna save before each question just because I want to see what happens. Is that considered scummy? You know, I'll go through it once normally. I'll save before each question, go through it once normally, and then save again, and then go back and get them all right. Um, Actually, no, I'll just save before it, and I'll come back if I really want to. I'll come back, like, maybe at the end of the episode or something. Because I feel like it'd be a little scummy if I just save scum that. I want to say... I want to go with my gut. I want to go with this one. Please don't be wrong. Damn it! No! I'm afraid that's wrong. I'm so sorry, Ink. How was I supposed to know something like that? It was your challenge. You dig your grave, you lie in it. Besides, it's not as if it weren't clear to me from the beginning that I'd win, so no surprises there. Let's see how you fare with your first question. Bring it. How far can you walk in the woods? Only until the middle. Anything after that and you're walking out of the woods again. You're right. That's a rather weird question, though. I suppose I read the right kinds of books growing up. I know most of those trick questions. Let's see what the second question has in store for you, shall we? Round 2. I need to stop doing that. That's cringy. Jeez, I can tell even just saying it. Alright, if there are 5 apples and you take away 3, how many do you have? There are 5 apples, I take 3, so I now have 3. Guess you also know your trick questions. Apparently so. Okay, here's your question. In which year of our timeline did we gain sentience? 0. The beginning of our timeline marks the event when we gain sentience. Right again. Have you played this game before? It's a children's game. These questions aren't exactly a challenge. Aren't really a challenge. I'll just go ahead and draw the next card so we can end this. I said I wasn't going to do it. Did you think I was going to do it again and make a fool of myself? Well, you're right. Round 3. I hate myself. That actually sounded better. Why did that sound better? An adventurer who values his life has to choose 3 rooms to cross. Which of the following would be the safest? A room filled with poisonous gas, a room filled with 100 highly trained assassins, a room submerged in water filled with alligators that have not eaten in 8 months. Okay. I feel... Okay, I seem to remember getting this wrong or something, but... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, no, this isn't right, because alligators can live for, like, more than 8 months. How poisonous is the gas, I suppose, would be that question. And this one, I suppose, is, like... Yeah, I remember this explicitly. I was really annoyed, because I thought I was so smart, because I was like, they haven't eaten for 8 months, they will have starved. But no, then Anna hits me with, actually, alligators can survive for, like, 9 months without food, and I was like, damn it! I guess it really just... The highly trained assassins thing, you're just dead. Well, actually, I guess at the same time, like, maybe they're not out to kill you, but... At this point, I don't care about winning the frickin' challenge. Like, well, I guess if I win this one, I would win 2 out of 3, but she'd get all 3. So, it doesn't matter. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Room for the poisonous gas. Nope, in fact, all the rooms are equally deadly. Alligators can go up to 2 years or more. Yeah. Making room number 3 as deadly as all the others. The other 2 rooms should not require an explanation. So I should have just gone with none of them. Wow, that's a super trick question, and I hate it. I hate it so much. This is ridiculous. I guess you don't like this game so much anymore. Looks like this is going to be the last question. Just get it over with already. What is the approximate acceleration speed of a nose-diving flyer? I'll have to think about that one for a minute. I was just kidding. I still could have calculated that. Okay, here's the real question. What is the only substance known to be lighter in its solid form compared to its liquid state? Water. That seems to be correct. Of course it is, duh. Just look at that, I won. Imagine that. Someone had to. This turned out to be more fun than I expected. Of course, the main reason for that is because I won, but still. I get it, you won, you're great, etc. That is true. So, when should I come in for the tests? Actually, I'm not sure if I get a spot for them in the facility anytime soon, but I'll be sure to let you know. I'm quite sure you will. But you know what? This wasn't so bad after all. Maybe I'll let you have your date. Really? Sure. I mean, you didn't win, but I think you earned it nonetheless. Or maybe I'm just that nice. Okay. Well, it's up to you. Call me if you're interested. I'll let you know. I'm still going to collect my prize, though. I'm sure you'll make sure of that. You bet I will. In any case, I should get going now. My break is just about to end. Bye. I was not sure what I expected out of this encounter, but it certainly wasn't this. After all, proposing a proper date was my way of sticking it to her for being rude. Even though I lost the bet, she didn't seem to mind going on a date with me, as long as she got what she wanted. Whether I'd follow up on it was up to me, though. I am 100% doing so. Okay. I think I'm going to really quickly save here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is, because I'm going to end the episode in a minute here, I want to go back and I want to see what happens if I actually answer that right. And I'm going to continue on the one where I didn't, because that's the run we're going with, but I just want to see. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's not this, so let's answer this one. Yeah, okay. How could you even know something like that? You've only been here for what, a few days? Not a good start for you, is it? Let's see if you can keep it up. Let's see how you fare with your first question. Bring it. How far can you walk into the woods? Only until the middle. After that, you're walking out. Rather weird question. Read the right kind of books. My second question. And 5 apples take away 3. I now have 3. That's the one I definitely know. I know that trick question in particular. Here's your question. What year of our timeline do we gain sentience? 0. Round 3. And this is where I answer none of them, because it's stupid. None of them are good. That's right, all of the rooms are equally deadly. Alligators can go up to 2 years or more without food, and the other rooms shouldn't require explanation. At least according to this card. To be honest, I think the answer is debatable. Don't worry, I'll still count it as the right answer for you. No need to get your tail caught in the door about it. That's a neat phrase. That's a neat phrase. I'd like to use that sometime. Looks like this is going to be the last question. Get it over with already. What is the approximate acceleration speed of a nose-diving flyer? Think about that one. Just kidding. Could have calculated that. Water. That's correct. Yay! Okay, so I imagine that's just an achievement. Well, it appears to me that our game has ended in a tie. What do you propose? I say we both get our rewards. After all, we each made a good effort to get them. That's fine with me. I won't have a spot in the facility to do tests for a while, though, so I suppose next time we'll meet, it'll be a date. Don't forget what I said earlier about what I expect from you on this date. You better be on your best behavior. I'll try. Thank you. In any case, I should head back to work. My break is just about over. See you soon, then? Of course. Now make sure you deliver your part of the deal. See you soon. Okay. Despite all odds, I managed to match her perfect score in the game we played. Even though my bet of forcing her to go on a proper date with me was more to get back at her for her earlier rudeness, I had not expected this outcome. I was not even sure what I expected from this meeting in the first place, but now I was locked into going on a date with her and being her own personal guinea pig. Whether anything good would come out of this, I wasn't sure either. And I think this just opens up the same place. Okay. So just in case I want to do this, I'll save after completing them correctly. This is the other one, though. I'm going to really quickly load back into that one. Okay, so that'll conclude today's episode. We actually did things. We talked to Anna, and that's so great after being physically incapable of talking to her for the majority of the last run, considering that she was dead. It was really nice to go back to when times were simpler in this game, and I could just talk to people without really a threat of anyone dying, anyone important anyway. And I'm glad that this time you could be here with me. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hopefully there's no issues with this recording. Hopefully the audio comes out okay. Hopefully the quality is okay, because I did do a test recording like right before this one, so if something went wrong, I am going to be incredibly disappointed. Um, but despite that, we will be continuing some other time with this run, the Anna Stays Alive run. And I'm not exactly certain if I'm necessarily going to, like, save Scum to get that outcome. I don't think I will. I think for the most part, at least for the first few, I'm pretty much gonna let it play out how it plays. I'm not gonna like just I'm not going to say here's our goal for the run and I'm going to make sure it happens no matter what. So yeah, I will see you all in the next one.